Oh, hey guys, it's Paul from Fhutowurks. How you doing today? Hey, I just had some revelations and some thoughts recently about Instagram, and I just wanted to kind of share some things with everybody just really quickly, just sort of off the cuff, so to speak. Which is why I'm just doing some YouTube lives, not Instagram live, a YouTube live. Anyway, so in looking at my Instagram and then looking at some of my friends' Instagram feeds recently, I kind of noticed a couple of things that people who are really producing high quality images, really high quality photography, they don't always get the number of likes and the number of comments and that type of thing that we'd like, as photographers, we'd like to see. But what we really do see a lot of course, is that people who are taking photos of primarily really beautiful women. Um, they tend to get the number of followers and the millions of followers, as a matter of fact. And it can be the same picture, the same person, day after day after day after day, and they just get follow after follower after follower after follower, which is amazing. I mean, it's incredible that, no knock on the people that are doing it, but why people would follow the same person day after day after day, seeing the same image in a different format. Um, and no knock against the Instagram models who are out there and they've achieved that level of success, but it's actually difficult for us as photographers to kind of figure out what people are really looking for, shy of just a pretty girl and the Instagram format. It got to the point where I was talking to one of my models the other day, where we just sort of commiserating back and forth, and we just came up with the idea that it's really nothing more than a kind of a Tinder that isn't. It's just kind of a swipe, swipe, swipe. But instead of a swipe, it's a press, like, and that's kind of the popularity contest that you seem to get uh, with this Instagram. It's kind of crazy. But that's not to say that there isn't some incredibly good photography that's being presented out there. And boy, it would be really great if the public would um, see some of the stuff that's being produced by some really incredible artists. Speaking of artists, let's just sort of hold the thought on Instagram models and their huge followings for a second. And let's talk just a brief moment about Instagram and photo art. So, what I see a lot of on Instagram is people producing incredible images that are not possible to create in the real world. And no knock on the artists, by the way, because I think the photo artists are doing incredible things. But I think in many terms of what an original or defining what photography is kind of blurred a little bit now. We kind of see people who manipulate the image heavily with filters and layer after layer, and they create different backgrounds and sunsets and clouds, and fields and flowers, and and spectral highlights, and doing all these really interesting things. But the question I have for you guys out there, is it really photography at that point? Because the only thing that was real in the image was probably the person standing there in the first place. But even the reflections in the eyeglasses from, they're typically painted in. So what you see a lot of models, standing beside, neon lights or something like that. And sometimes they use like a prism or something to shoot into prism and get some interesting looking effects and that sort of thing. But the perfection of the image is really probably not possible that the way it's presented. And no knock again to the artists out there, but what's being passed as photography is really photo art. And I just want to sort of make that differentiation, because I think, dodging and burning, or, highlighting, or just doing relatively simple things to an image to make you look at the image where you want the eye to go and what you're trying to reveal, just like in any painting where you were taking your eye to a certain point in the painting, or to looking at your subjects and what are you trying to achieve. The painting wasn't done layer after layer after layer after layer, until it creates this scene. But that ultimately becomes artwork. But there's that photorealistic style of painting that was done many, many years ago, like a Bouguereau, that type of stuff, where really people look like it was a photograph. It was so well done. So let's talk for a second about things like skin tones and such. Well, you see a lot of times in the Instagram photography that the people are the faces are perfect. There's no blemishes. There's no wrinkles. It's smooth as silk. They've used these filtration techniques to really get the skins to look incredible. But is it real? And do people run out and buy cameras and lenses because they think that they can get that image because it looks, they did it on this camera, so it must be that I can get that. I think that does happen, and I think our cell phone manufacturers, for instance, are creating cameras inside cell phones that they're using, of course, the computational photography to create these looks that people have been doing in Photoshop or other software to create the most beautiful image that they possibly can of the human experience. Anyway, food for thought. And I'm not sure what the right answer is, the wrong answer is. I don't know why people follow Instagram models the way they do, just based on, another, let's just say it, like hot girl after hot girl after hot girl, which is, I guess, is fine to see. And I, obviously don't have any big problem photographing females. It's fine. But I think there is a natural beauty that we should be really going for, rather than the enhanced beauty that we see a lot of in our images. I sort of thought this about today, because I actually got a comment on one of my images today. It said, what filter did you use for these images, because they're all so great? And I had to tell the person I actually didn't use any filters. I really don't. I don't even know how to use those. What I do though is create a color in my mind of what I see and how I want that image to look. And then I do dodge and burn the images to make sure that the eye is taken to where you want to go. And I spend a lot of time in composition to make sure that the composition is really a strong enough that it really brings a viewer into the image and wants to look at it. But beyond that, I really don't do much on the images that I post. Anyway, I wanted to share that with you. And I don't think there's any right or wrong thing here, by the way. I think it's all good. But I just had some random thoughts, if you will, about Instagram today, and just wanted to share them with the world. So anyway, give me your comments, and we'll look forward to talking to you guys soon. Cheers.